First contact and betrayal. The blue-white streak of the ESS Horizon's engines painted a brilliant path through the darkness of deep space. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's observation window, watching the unfamiliar stars blur past as humanity's first deep space exploration vessel pushed the boundaries of known space. After 6 months of successful exploration beyond the solar system, the crew had settled into a comfortable routine. Until today. "Commander, we're picking up an anomalous signal," Lieutenant James Rodriguez called from his sensor station. "It's structured. Definitely not natural." Chen turned sharply, her heart racing. After decades of searching, humanity had dreamed of this moment. Source: binary system ahead. Signals coming from the second planet's orbit. Rodriguez's fingers flew across his haptic interface. It's repeating on a regular interval. Translation matrix suggests it's a distress call. The bridge crew fell silent. Their mission parameters were clear: observe and report. But a distress call changed everything. "Display the system," Chen ordered. The holographic projection filled the center of the bridge, showing 2 stars locked in an eternal dance, one orange, one red, with 12 planets orbiting in complex patterns. The source of the signal blinked steadily from the orbit of a blue-green world. Dr. Emily Warren, the ship's xenolinguist, was already working. "The signal contains mathematical sequences similar to our early space transmissions. Whoever they are, they want to be found." Chen studied the projection, years of tactical training warring with scientific curiosity. "How long until we're in range for detailed scans?" 3 hours at current speed. Navigation Officer Patel responded. "Take us in, but maintain distance for initial contact. Full defensive screens." Chen activated the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the commander. We are about to make history. First contact protocols are now in effect." As the horizon approached, details emerged. The signal originated from what appeared to be a damaged vessel, nearly 3 times their size. Its design was organic, almost crystalline, with sweeping curves that seemed to catch and reflect starlight. "Life signs confirmed," Rodriguez reported. "Atmosphere composition suggests compatibility with human physiology." "We're receiving a new transmission," Warren announced. They're using our own language patterns. They've analyzed our communications and adapted. That's incredible." A voice filled the bridge, melodic but clearly artificial. "To approaching vessel. We are the Lysani. Our ship is critically damaged. We seek assistance. We offer knowledge and friendship in exchange." Chen exchanged looks with her senior staff. This was beyond their wildest expectations. Not just first contact, but with a species advanced enough to decode their language in minutes. "This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth Ship Horizon. We stand ready to assist. Please state the nature of your emergency." The response came quickly. "Our propulsion and life support systems are failing. We require technical assistance to prevent complete system collapse. We have much to share with your species." Over the next hour, the Horizon's crew worked with the Lysani to establish docking protocols. The alien ship's specifications were transmitted, along with atmospheric requirements that matched Earth's almost perfectly. As Chen led the first contact team toward the docking port, she couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. Everything seemed too perfect. The compatible atmosphere, the quick language adaptation, even the familiar technological interfaces they'd been shown. The docking tube extended, sealed, and pressurized. Chen, along with Dr. Warren, Chief Engineer Torres, and 2 security officers, stepped through into the alien vessel. The interior was bathed in soft, blue-white light that seemed to pulse gently. They found no one waiting to greet them. "Life signs are moving away from us," Torres muttered, checking his scanner. "That doesn't make sense. They should be." The ship's lights suddenly flared brilliant red. Warren's translation matrix screamed to life. "Kuierantaini pro Tokyo L Initai. Hiti. Pathogen. DET. Chen's blood ran cold as massive bulkheads slammed down around them. Through the ship's crystalline walls, she watched in horror as dozens of previously cloaked vessels shinned into visibility around the horizon. "This is Commander Chen. Emergency Protocol Alpha. Get us out of." The command was cut short as energy fields sprang up around them. Through the crystalline walls, Chen watched helplessly as the hidden fleet opened fire on the horizon. Her ship's advanced shields flared brilliantly against the first wave, but there were too many enemies. A new voice echoed through the ship, different from the first, harder, colder. "Humanity has performed admirably in our test. Your technology, your adaptability, your willingness to aid others, all make you perfect candidates. Your species will serve well in the coming war." As consciousness faded, Chen's last thought was of the message she'd managed to transmit to her ship in the seconds before their capture. A single code phrase that would warn Earth. Broken Arrow. The stars are not empty. The stars are not safe. The horizon exploded in a final act of defiance, its antimatter containment deliberately breached by its crew. The blast took 3 enemy ships with it, but the victory was hollow. Humanity's first contact had become humanity's first interstellar war, and in the darkness between the stars, countless other ships were already turning toward Earth. The Protocol Initiative. 6 months after the Horizon incident, the underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert hummed with activity. General Marcus Rivera stood before the assembled leaders of Earth's newly formed United Defense Council, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display of their latest weapon prototype. "The Lisani made one crucial mistake," Rivera declared, gesturing to the twisted piece of alien technology recovered from the Horizon's final transmission. "They assumed we would follow first contact protocols indefinitely. They never expected us to have a contingency plan for betrayal." Dr. Yuki Tanaka stepped forward, her quantum mechanics team's latest breakthrough projected behind her. The alien ship's remains revealed something extraordinary. They don't just use advanced technology. They rely on it completely. Their neural networks are integrated into their ships. It's their strength, but also their weakness. The display shifted to show simulation data. Project Blackout. Tanaka continued. Exploits this dependency. The quantum disruption field doesn't just disable their tech. It severs their neural connections. A ship full of warriors becomes trapped in their own systems. Admiral Helen Frost, survivor of 3 skirmishes with Lisani scout ships, leaned forward. "How soon can we deploy?" "That's where things get complicated," Rivera admitted. "We need a delivery system that can penetrate their defensive screens, something they won't expect. Something." He smiled grimly. Human. The next image showed a sleek vessel unlike anything in Earth's current fleet. The Nemesis program. Warships built not around technology, but around the human mind. Manual controls. Analog backups. A hybrid of our most primitive and most advanced systems. Dr. Tanaka highlighted the ship's unique features. The outer hull contains layers of crystalline matrices, similar to their own ships, but modified. To their scans, will appear to be using their technology. The real systems lie beneath, completely isolated and manually controlled. "You want to turn our fleet into Trojan horses," Frost mused. "But who would volunteer for what amounts to a suicide mission?" The answer came from the back of the room. "We would." Captain Michael Zhang stepped forward, leading a group of 30 officers. All of them bore the same haunted look. Survivors of previous Lisani attacks. "We've studied their tactics, their technology, their arrogance. We know how to fight them." Zhang's prosthetic arm gleamed as he pointed to the ship schematic. "They think humanity is primitive because we still rely on human pilots, human gunners, human reflexes. Let's prove that's not a weakness. It's our greatest strength." The next 3 months transformed the Atacama facility into humanity's largest shipyard. The first Nemesis-class vessel, christened Memory of Horizon, took shape under the desert stars. Its hull gleamed with the same crystalline patterns as Lisani ships, but inside, It was purely human. Captain Zhang stood in the bridge of the memory, running his hand along the manual controls. "Like coming home," he murmured. His new crew, all survivors like him, nodded in agreement. They had trained relentlessly, learning to operate their ship without computer assistance, relying on skills that dated back to humanity's first ventures into space. Quantum disruption field at full capacity, Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported, younger sister of the Horizon's commander. Lissani signatures programmed into the crystalline matrix. As far as their scans will show, we're one of their own ships. "All hands," Zhang announced. "This is your captain. What we do here will decide the fate of our world. The enemy believes they've seen humanity at our most vulnerable. They're about to learn how dangerous we are when we're prepared." The memory of Horizon rose from its underground berth, its engines burning with a carefully disguised signature. Behind it, 5 more Nemesis-class ships were nearing completion. Earth's counterattack was about to begin. In high orbit, long-range sensors detected a Lissani battle group approaching, likely another test of Earth's defenses. They had grown bold in recent months, probing deeper into the solar system, testing humanity's responses. "They're maintaining their standard approach pattern," Chen reported. 3 capital ships, 8 escorts. "They still think we're stuck defending with our old technology." Zhang's expression hardened. "Configure the whole matrix to match their patrol vessels. Standard Lissani protocols." His organic hand tightened on the manual steering column. "Let's introduce ourselves." The memory of Horizon accelerated, its crystalline hull pulsing in perfect mimicry of Lissani patterns. The enemy fleet adjusted formation slightly to accommodate what they assumed was one of their own scouts. "Range to quantum disruption field activation. 30 seconds. Chen counted down. "They're hailing us with recognition codes." "Send the response package Dr. Tanaka prepared," Zhang ordered. "Let's see if our homework paid off." The Lissani accepted the codes without question. Their arrogance had led them to believe their systems were unbreakable, their protocols impossible to falsify. They never considered that humans would understand their technology well enough to replicate it. 10 seconds to optimal range, Chen announced. "All hands, brace for manual combat operations." Zhang opened the ship-wide channel one last time. "For the Horizon," he said quietly. Then the memory of Horizon revealed its true nature. The quantum disruption field exploded outward, massive capacitors discharging their stored energy in a wave that sheared through Lissani shields as if they weren't there. On the enemy ships, neural networks collapsed. Integrated systems failed. The mighty vessels, so dependent on their advanced technology, began to drift. Multiple hull breaches detected on enemy vessels, Chen reported, a fierce grin on her face. Their crews are completely cut off from their ship systems. They're blind and paralyzed. "Launch boarding torpedoes," Zhang commanded. "Let's show them how humans fought before we had computers to do our thinking for us." As assault teams in manually powered armor burst into the disabled Lissani ships, Zhang sent a tight beam transmission back to Earth. "Protocol initiative successful. The Lissani can be beaten. Humanity's counterstrike begins now." Across the solar system, 5 more Nemesis-class ships rose from their hidden berths. The real war was about to begin, and humanity had just proven they weren't the primitive species the Lissani thought they were. They were something far more dangerous. Humans who had learned from their enemies' mistakes. Battle for the Arcturus Gate. The vast emptiness near Arcturus was about to become a battleground. 3 months after the successful protocol initiative, the combined Nemesis fleet held position in the shadow of a rogue planet, their crystalline hulls dark and silent. Captain Zhang stood aboard the memory of Horizon, studying the tactical display where dozens of Lissani signatures converged on their position. "Confirmation from deep space probes," Lieutenant Chen reported. "The Arcturus anomaly is definitely their primary supply route. Quantum wake signatures suggest some kind of artificial wormhole technology." Dr. Tanaka's voice came through the secure channel from Earth Command. "The energy readings match fragments we decoded from their ships. They call it a star bridge. a network of artificial passages through space. This node connects to their core territories. Zhang nodded grimly, which makes it perfect for Operation Guillotine. He opened the fleet channel. All ships, final positions. Remember, we only get one shot at this. The Nemesis fleet had grown to 20 ships, each crewed by veterans of previous engagements. They had learned to fight without advanced computers, relying instead on human intuition and reflexes. The Lysani still hadn't adapted to facing enemies who could function without neural interfaces. Multiple transit signatures, Chen announced. Lysani supply fleet emerging from the Starbridge. The scene unfolded exactly as their intelligence suggested. A massive Lysani convoy emerged from the swirling quantum distortion, their ships laden with resources and reinforcements for the invasion of Earth. They never expected to find an ambush waiting. Execute primary sequence, Zhang ordered. All ships, activate quantum disruption fields on my mark. The Nemesis fleet powered up in perfect synchronization, their hulls still mimicking Lysani signatures. As far as the enemy scans could tell, they were simply another escort group arriving to join the convoy. Sir, Chen's voice was tense. There's something else coming through the Starbridge. Something massive. The quantum distortion writhed and expanded as something emerged that dwarfed even the largest Lysani vessels. Its hull was different, older, more organic, covered in patterns that pulsed with ancient power. New contact is broadcasting, Chen reported. But not in Lysani protocols. This is something else entirely. A voice filled their command channel, speaking in perfect English. Human vessels, hold your attack. I am Archival Mind Keteth of the predecessor fleet. We have been waiting for a species capable of breaking the Lysani dominion. Zhang exchanged looks with his bridge crew. This wasn't part of the plan. Authenticate your transmission source, he demanded. How are you speaking our language? We have watched your battles, Keteth replied. Your ability to defeat Lysani technology without relying on neural interfaces proves you are what we have sought. The Lysani are not conquerors, they are thieves. Their technology, their starbridges, even their neural networks, all stolen from my people eons ago. Before Zhang could respond, the Lysani convoy realized something was wrong. Their ships began to power weapons, shields rising as they recognized the deception. Sir, Chen urged, we're about to lose our window of opportunity. Zhang made his decision. Keep to the plan. All ships, execute quantum burst on my mark. He opened a channel to the massive alien vessel. Kith, if you're really an enemy of the Lysani, prove it now. Mark. The Nemesis fleet lit up as one, quantum disruption fields expanding to envelop the Lysani convoy. Ships began to drift as their neural networks collapsed. But several vessels at the edge of the formation escaped the effect, their weapons charging. That's when Keteth's ship moved. Streams of energy unlike anything they'd seen before lanced out, not attacking the Lysani ships, but rather connecting with them. Where the energy touched, the crystalline hulls began to change, patterns shifting and fading. They're shutting down, Chen said in amazement. He's using some kind of override protocol. Not override, Keth corrected. Restoration. We built these systems with safeguards the Lysani never discovered. Now, Captain Zhang, shall we discuss the real war? The next hours were a flurry of activity as human boarding teams secured the disabled convoy, while Keteth shared the true history of the galaxy. The predecessors had been the first to achieve interstellar travel, creating the Starbridge network to unite the galaxy. But they had grown complacent, and the Lysani had stolen their technology, using neural interfaces to bypass the organic components that made the systems truly powerful. Your species intrigues us, Keth explained to an assembled group of human leaders via quantum link. You understand technology, but do not rely on it entirely. You maintain your independence, your ability to think and act without neural augmentation. This is what we designed our systems to require. Dr. Tanaka's excitement was palpable even through the quantum link. The crystalline matrices we copied. They're not just computer systems, are they? They're meant to interface with organic minds, but not through artificial neural networks. Correct. What you call quantum disruption fields are actually awakening protocols, designed to break artificial neural bonds and restore proper organic connection. The Lissani never understood this. They tried to force the technology to work through artificial means, creating a pale shadow of its true potential. Zhang looked out at the captured Lissani fleet, seeing their technology in a new light. You're saying humans are naturally compatible with your systems. That's why our disruption fields work so well. More than compatible. Keteth's voice held something like pride. You are among the few species we have found who could restore the balance. The Lissani Empire is built on stolen technology they barely understand. With humanity's help, we can reclaim what was taken and restore peace to the galaxy. The implications were staggering. Humanity had been preparing for a desperate war of survival. Instead, they had found allies who could help them leap centuries ahead in development, not through artificial means, but by unlocking potential they already possessed. Sir, Chen interrupted, long-range sensors are picking up multiple Lissani battle fleets converging on our position. They must have detected the capture of their convoy. Zhang smiled grimly. Good. Keteth, I believe it's time to show the Lissani exactly what their stolen technology can do in the right hands. As the combined human and predecessor forces prepared for battle, Zhang couldn't help but recall how this had all started, with the Lissani underestimating humanity's potential. Now they would learn just how costly that mistake had been. The battle for the Arcturus Gate was about to become the turning point in a war the Lissani never expected to lose. The alliance of the desperate. The shipyards orbiting Europa had changed dramatically in the months following the Arcturus Gate battle. Predecessor biomechanical systems merged seamlessly with human engineering, creating hybrid vessels, unlike anything either civilization had built before. Captain Zhang watched from the observation deck as the newest ship in the fleet, the Defiance, underwent its final trials. Beautiful, isn't she? Dr. Tanaka appeared beside him, her eyes reflecting the ethereal glow of the ship's crystalline matrix. First successful full integration of predecessor organic technology with human tactical systems. No neural interfaces, just pure human intuition enhanced by their biotech. The Defiance's hull rippled with patterns of light, responding to its crew's thoughts and emotions without any artificial neural links. It was a perfect fusion of human creativity and predecessor engineering. We're receiving a priority transmission from the Helios Deep Space Array. Lieutenant Chen's voice came through their comms. Multiple quantum wake signatures detected. Ships coming out of fast transit. But, sir, they're not Lissani. Zhang and Tanaka rushed to the command center, where a holographic display showed a cluster of unknown vessels approaching the solar system. Their design was entirely different from both Lissani and predecessor ships. More angular, almost crystalline, but with a distinctly artificial aesthetic. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Chen reported. Multiple languages, including English. They're identifying themselves as refugees. The lead ship's transmission cleared. To the Human Predecessor Alliance, we are the collective of free worlds, survivors of Lissani expansion. We seek asylum and offer our own technologies and knowledge in exchange for protection. Ket's avatar materialized in the command center, his ethereal form shimmering with concern. These are the Artisans, a species known for their mastery of quantum mechanics. The Lissani attempted to conquer them 3 stellar cycles ago. And now they found us, Zhang mused, because we're the first ones to successfully fight back. The refugee fleet carried representatives from 7 different species, each with their own bitter history with the Lissani Empire. The Artisans brought their quantum manipulation technology. The Zenri offered their expertise in gravity control. The Myriad, a collective consciousness of crystalline beings, shared their knowledge of faster-than-light communication. In the weeks that followed, Europa's shipyards became a melting pot of galactic technology and culture. Each species had fought the Lysani alone and failed. Together, they began creating something unprecedented. The Lysani's greatest mistake, Keth observed during a strategic council, was believing that forcing species to submit would make them stronger. Instead, they drove us together, creating an alliance they cannot hope to match. The Defiance's first combat deployment proved this theory dramatically. When a Lysani battle fleet attempted to attack a Zenri refugee convoy, they found themselves facing a warship that combined human tactical brilliance, predecessor organic technology, Artisan quantum weapons, and Zenri gravity control. Multiple Lysani ships attempting emergency quantum jumps. Chen reported from her station aboard the Defiance. The Artisan quantum disruptors are preventing their escape. John watched as his ship's hybrid weapons tore through the enemy fleet. The Lysani neural networks, so dependent on rigid protocols and artificial interfaces, couldn't adapt to weapons that changed frequency and attack patterns based on human intuition, enhanced by organic computing. But the true breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young myriad crystal being, interfacing with human scientists, discovered something revolutionary about the quantum wake signatures of Lysani ships. Their entire empire depends on stolen Starbridge technology, Dr. Tanaka explained to the Ally Council. But they're using it wrong. The artificial neural interfaces create quantum instabilities every time they transit. With the Myriad's help, we can track these distortions back to their source. More than that, the Myriad consciousness added through its crystalline interface, we can disrupt their entire network. The predecessors designed the Starbridges to resist artificial control. Together, we can awaken those protocols. The plan that emerged was audacious. Using combined human Myriad quantum tracking, enhanced by predecessor organic computing and Artisan quantum manipulation, they could potentially locate and disable every major Starbridge in Lysani space simultaneously. It would cripple their ability to reinforce their territories, Zhang noted. Their empire would fragment overnight. But the timing must be perfect, Teth warned. Once we begin, the Lysani will realize their entire network is vulnerable. We will need every ship, every ally, ready to strike at multiple points simultaneously. As the Allied fleet grew, more refugees arrived, species that had hidden from Lysani expansion, waiting for a chance to fight back. Each brought new technologies, new perspectives, and new determination to end the Lysani's reign of terror. The Defiance became the prototype for a new class of hybrid warships. Each vessel combined the strengths of multiple species, but always with human crews at their heart. The quality that the Lysani had dismissed as primitive, human independence from neural interfaces, had become the key to uniting the galaxy's greatest technologies. The Lysani wanted to force the galaxy to submit to their way of thinking. Jean reflected as he watched the combined fleet conduct maneuvers near Jupiter. Instead, they forced us to learn how to work together, each bringing our own strengths to the fight. A signal from Earth interrupted his thoughts. Long-range sensors had detected massive Lysani fleet movements. The enemy had finally realized the true scope of what they faced, and they were marshaling their forces for a decisive battle. The Alliance's first great test was about to begin. But as Zhang looked at the vessels assembled around him, human ships enhanced by predecessor organics, Artisan quantum cannons mounted on Zenri gravity drives, myriad crystals pulsing with faster-than-light communications, he knew that the Lysani had already lost. They had sought to dominate the galaxy. Instead, they had united it against them. Breaking the chains, the combined fleet hung in the darkness near the Horsehead Nebula, a gathering of power unprecedented in galactic history. Ships of every allied species formed intricate patterns in space. Human vessels with their hybrid technologies, predecessor organic ships pulsing with ancient power, Artisan quantum vessels shifting in and out of normal space, and dozens of other designs representing the full diversity of galactic civilization. Aboard the Defiance, now the flagship of the Alliance, Captain Zhang surveyed the tactical display showing thousands of ships in formation. Each represented a species that had suffered under Lysani oppression. Each carried crews determined to end that oppression forever. Multiple quantum wake signatures detected, Lieutenant Chen announced. Massive Lysani fleet emerging from their primary Starbridge hub. Numbers far beyond our projections. The space before them twisted as hundreds, then thousands of Lysani warships emerge. Their neural-linked crews, so dependent on artificial interfaces, moved with machine-like precision. Leading them was a vessel that dwarfed even the largest predecessor ships, the Lysani Command Nexus, heart of their empire's neural network. They brought their entire command structure, Teth observed, his avatar shimmering with anticipation. Arrogance or desperation? Both, Zhang replied. They still think superior numbers and technology guarantee victory. He opened a channel to the Allied fleet. All ships, commence Operation Awakening. Remember your training. Trust in each other. Today we free the galaxy. The battle began with a display of power that would be remembered for generations. The Lysani fleet launched their signature purple energy beams, expecting to overwhelm their opponents through sheer firepower. Instead, their attacks met a defense that combined multiple species technologies in ways they had never imagined. Artisan quantum fields redirected energy weapons back at their sources. Zenri gravity manipulators created corridors of distorted space that trapped entire enemy squadrons. Predecessor organic ships absorbed and transformed hostile energy into healing pulses that strengthened Allied shields. But it was the human elements that truly shocked the Lysani. Each Allied ship, regardless of origin, was crewed or guided by humans working in harmony with organic interfaces. Their unpredictable tactics, their ability to improvise, their natural rapport with predecessor technology, all stood in stark contrast to the rigid, neural-linked Lysani formations. Primary Starbridge hub is charging, Chen reported. They're attempting to bring in reinforcements from across their empire. Perfect timing. Dr. Tanaka's voice came through the quantum link. She was aboard a specialized myriad vessel, its crystalline structure housing the most sophisticated quantum computers ever created, initiating protocol restoration. Now, the myriad ship pulsed with brilliant light as it broadcast a signal developed through the combined efforts of all allied species. It carried predecessor awakening codes, enhanced by Artisan quantum mechanics, focused through myriad crystalline matrices, and guided by human intuition. The signal reached the Starbridge hub, and something extraordinary happened. The ancient predecessor safeguards, dormant for millennia, began to awaken. Throughout Lysani space, every Starbridge simultaneously responded to their original programming. Neural network disruption cascading through their fleet, Chen called out. The command nexus is, "Sir, they're trying to override, but the safeguards are rejecting their artificial interfaces." The massive Lysani command ship shuddered as its stolen technology turned against it. Across their formation, ships began to drift as neural links failed. The mighty empire that had terrorized the galaxy through stolen power was being undone by the very technology they had misused. But the Lysani had one final surprise. The command nexus's hull split open, revealing weapons of terrifying power. Technology even the predecessors hadn't seen before. Energy readings off the scale, multiple sensors reported. They're going to trigger a quantum cascade. They'll destroy everything in this sector, including themselves. Zhang's response was immediate. All ships, emergency containment formation Alpha. Zenri gravity units, create a containment field. Artisan vessels, prepare quantum stabilization fields. Predecessor ships, channel the excess energy through your organic matrices. The Allied fleet move is one. Thousands of ships combining their technologies in a desperate plan conceived in seconds. As the Lysani weapon began to detonate, it found itself contained within multiple layers of overlapping fields and barriers. Containment fields holding, Chen reported, her voice strained. But the energy levels are still rising. We can't hold it forever. That's when the myriad made their sacrifice. Their crystalline vessel, housing the combined knowledge of their entire species, accelerated toward the containment zone. We can absorb and redirect the energy, the myriad consciousness transmitted. Our crystalline structure was made for this. Captain Zhang, it has been an honor to fight alongside humanity. Before anyone could respond, the myriad ship plunged into the heart of the quantum cascade. For a moment, it seemed as if space itself held its breath. Then the crystalline vessel began to glow, brighter and brighter, absorbing the destructive energy and channeling it through its structure. The explosion that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. But when the light faded, the Allied fleet remained intact. Where the myriad ship had been, thousands of smaller crystals drifted in space, each containing a fragment of their consciousness, changed but not destroyed. The Lysani fleet, they're surrendering, Chen announced, her voice filled with disbelief. The command nexus's neural network has completely collapsed. Their entire empire is going dark as the star bridges return to their original protocols. The war ended not with a grand battle, but with the quiet realization by the Lysani that their stolen power had finally turned against them. Without their neural networks, without the ability to control predecessor technology through artificial means, their empire began to crumble. In the years that followed, the alliance transformed from a military coalition into something greater. The Lysani themselves, freed from their dependence on artificial neural interfaces, eventually joined the growing galactic community. The myriad, though changed by their sacrifice, helped establish new forms of faster-than-light communication that united species across the stars. And humanity found its true place in the galaxy, not as conquerors or subjects, but as bridges between civilizations. Their unique ability to work with both organic and mechanical systems, their adaptability, and their determination to remain independent while embracing cooperation made them natural leaders in the new galactic order. Standing on the observation deck of the Defiance, now a monument to the war's end, John watched ships of all species moving peacefully through the rebuilt Starbridge network. Each vessel represented a different approach to technology, a different way of thinking, all working together in harmony. "We did it, Sarah," he whispered, remembering the commander of the Horizon whose sacrifice had started it all. "We showed them what humanity really is. Not primitive, not advanced, but something unique, something the galaxy needed all along." The stars sparkled around him, no longer harboring hidden threats but promising endless possibilities for the united species of the galaxy. The nightmare was over. The dream of true cooperation, of strength through diversity, had only just begun.